You pay $15 for an Uber ride, and Uber actually loses 75 cents. You order $30 of food on Uber Eats, and Uber barely scrapes out a 40-cent profit. Yet, after losing $31 billion in 10 years, Uber is somehow worth $140 billion, conquering taxis and takeout worldwide. How is this even possible? And what secret keeps this money-losing machine alive? The truth starts with two ordinary transactions and a billion-dollar gamble. A $15 Uber ride seems simple enough. Sarah taps the app, a car arrives, and she is on her way. But the money trail splits fast. Out of her $15 payment, the driver receives $10.50, about 70% of the fare. Uber's platform keeps the remaining $4.50. That is the headline, but the real story is in the fine print. Behind every ride, Uber shoulders a stack of costs. Technology and app maintenance, 80 cents. Insurance, 60 cents. Payment processing, 45 cents. Marketing to attract new riders and drivers, $1.20. General overhead, 50 cents. Bonuses and incentives, 70 cents. Added up, and Uber's share gets swallowed by expenses. When the dust settles, the company actually loses 75 cents on Sarah's ride. Multiply that by millions of trips a day, and the deficit grows quickly. Now, look at Mike's $30 Uber Eats order. On the surface, the restaurant gets $19.50, about 65%. The delivery driver earns $6, leaving Uber with just $4.50, or 15%. But the platform does not stop there. Mike pays extra, a $2.50 service fee, $3 for delivery, and a $2 small order charge, pushing his total to $37.50. Uber's true cut rises to $11. After covering costs, which include driver pay, insurance, payment processing, support, and marketing, expenses reach $10.60. This time, Uber ekes out a 40-cent profit. The numbers are tight, but the difference is real. Food delivery, with its layered fees and frequent orders, now edges out rides as the more profitable transaction. On paper, both sides of Uber's business look like they should print money. In reality, one side loses a little on every trip, while the other barely breaks even. These micro margins, repeated billions of times, explain why Uber's growth story needed more than just fares to stay afloat. Uber's survival was not powered by fares or fees, it ran on investor cash. By 2015, Uber had raised more than $25 billion from venture capitalists and sovereign wealth funds, promising them category dominance in both rides and delivery. The playbook was simple: spend aggressively, capture markets, and worry about profits later. In practice, this meant burning through billions every year. At its peak in 2019, Uber posted a net loss of $8.5 billion, according to SEC filings. That year alone, the company's operating cash burn reached $7.7 billion. The money paid for relentless expansion, driver bonuses, rider discounts, and the launch of Uber Eats, even as every ride and most food orders lost money. Executives like Travis Kalanick and Bill Gurley argued this was not recklessness, it was strategy. Their message to investors was blunt: the only way to win in the new logistics economy was to outlast and outspend rivals. Subsidies poured in on both sides of the platform. Drivers received sign-up bonuses in the thousands. Riders and New Eats users got free trips, $20 off coupons, and capped surge pricing. Restaurants joined Eats with zero commissions in their first month, building habits that would later be monetized. The expectation was that these losses would eventually pay off, once Uber's network effects locked in users and competitors faded. Then the pandemic hit. In early 2020, global ride demand collapsed by 80% almost overnight. Uber's leadership, now under Chief Executive Officer Dara Khosrowshahi, faced a crisis. Emergency board meetings led to deep cuts, 25% of staff laid off, expansion halted, and every available dollar redirected to Uber Eats. The company moved fast, acquiring Postmates to consolidate food delivery and cover the hole left by rides. Eats orders exploded, up 200% in a matter of months. For the first time, Uber's food business became the lifeline, keeping the company afloat while rides languished. The investor subsidy engine had bought Uber time, but the pandemic forced a strategic pivot. that would reshape the company's future. Uber's real advantage comes from how its platform weaves rides and food delivery into a single, flexible network. Drivers aren't locked into just one job. They can accept a ride request, then switch to delivering food during slow periods and jump back when demand picks up. This constant toggling means fewer empty miles and less wasted time. Studies show drivers who mix both services earn about 20 to 30% more per hour than those who stick to just one, simply by staying busier. For Uber, this shared labor pool isn't just about squeezing more out of every car on the road. It also means the company can scale up or down quickly as demand shifts, with the same set of drivers supporting both sides of the business. The network stretches beyond drivers. Users who order food and book rides through the same app become less likely to wander off to Lyft or DoorDash. Internal data points to a 40% drop in churn among customers active on both Rides and Eats. The unified app, single support team, and shared marketing budget all help Uber keep costs lower than rivals who only do one thing. This operational leverage is the backbone of Uber's business model. It turns millions of small, barely profitable transactions into a machine that is hard for any single category competitor to match. Eats now accounts for 35% of Uber's total revenue and nearly half of its gross profit. That reversal would have seemed unthinkable just a few years ago. Unlike ride-hailing, where drivers and insurance eat up nearly every dollar, food delivery stacks multiple fee layers on each order. Restaurants are fragmented and often desperate for new customers, so they have little bargaining power. Uber charges a sliding commission, 15% if the restaurant handles delivery itself, 25% for standard delivery, and up to 30% for premium placement and full service. On top of that, every order adds service fees, delivery fees, and small order fees. This structure lets Uber pull far more from each transaction. A typical $40 food order can generate $12 in revenue for Uber, while the driver receives $6 and core costs rarely top $2. That leaves as much as $4 in profit, translating to margins of 8 to 10% compared to just 1 or 2% on rides. The economics tilt even further because insurance costs for food are much lower than for moving people, and customers tend to order more frequently, 3 or 4 times a month versus twice for rides. Restaurants have become a primary revenue source, not just a pass-through. The result: Eats now quietly subsidizes the rest of the platform, proving that food delivery, once the underdog, has become Uber's margin engine. Surge pricing transforms ordinary rides and deliveries into high-stakes transactions. When demand spikes, after concerts, during storms, on holiday nights, the algorithm kicks in, multiplying base fares by anywhere from 1.5 to 5 times. On Uber Eats, busy and weather fees stack on top, sometimes doubling the delivery charge in a single click. These moments are rare, but powerful. Data from major cities shows that just 8 to 15% of trips, those taken during surges or busy hours, generate 30 to 45% of Uber's total segment profit. The rest of the time, margins are slim or even negative. The real engine is not just the multiplier. Over the years, Uber has quietly raised its take from each transaction. In 2012, the company kept about 20% of every ride. By 2025, that number has climbed to 27 to 30% for rides, and 25 to 35% for Eats, with some categories, like alcohol or premium cars, pushing even higher. Ancillary fees have multiplied, including booking charges, cancellation penalties, airport surcharges, and toll markups. On the delivery side, service and small order fees, plus priority placement for restaurants, all add up. This fee stack has helped Uber inch into the black, but the margin for error is razor thin. Net profit margins hover around 2%. Any misstep, regulation capping surges, driver or restaurant revolt, or a sudden drop in demand could send the model back into the red. The algorithm's constant squeeze keeps the platform afloat, but it also leaves Uber exposed, balancing profitability on the edge of public tolerance and supplier patience. Today, Uber's profits depend on constant fee tweaks and relentless market control. As every ride and meal funds this balancing act, consumers, drivers, and restaurants all feel the squeeze. The real question now is, how much can be optimized before the platform's logic tests the limits of trust? Share your thoughts below.